Hello and welcome to Politics Tonight, where we dig and go beyond the headlines for informed analysis of major political stories in Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. It's about 74 days to the conduct of the 2023 general election, and the electoral umpire is still facing challenges with continued attacks on its facilities across the country. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says none of the critical election materials was destroyed in the attack on its state headquarters in Owerri, the Imo State capital, on Monday. In a statement by its National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, INEC also confirmed that there were no casualties involving staff of the commission in the incident. Former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Udom Imano, has challenged the Enugu State government to make public facts of alleged debt accrued to the state during his time as governor of the state. Imano made the call at the party's presidential and senatorial campaign in Benin City, the Enugu State capital. And on the interview segment for today, we examine the chances of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to retain the Southeast with a chieftain of the party in Enugu State and one of the spokesperson of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Council, Chijioke Onyema, as our guest tonight. Welcome to Politics Tonight. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's begin with preparations for the 2023 elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says none of the critical election materials was destroyed in the attack on its state headquarters in Owerri, the Imo State capital, this Monday. In a statement by its National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, INEC also confirmed that there were no casualties involving staff of the commission in the incident, which occurred at about 3 a.m. on Monday. The statement said the attack affected part of the building occupied by the election and party monitoring department, while one official utility vehicle was burned. INEC also confirmed that this is the third attack on the commission's facilities in Imo State in less than 2 weeks, following earlier attacks in Olu local government area on Thursday, 1st of December, and that of Oru West on Sunday, 4th of December, 2022. And meanwhile, operatives of Nigerian security have neutralized 3 armed suspects who attacked the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Owerri in the early hours of Monday. Although the security agents repelled the attack, a section of the office was razed by the hoodlums. The presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwakwanso, has urged Nigerians to see his party as an alternative to the People's Democratic Party and the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. Kwakwanso spoke in Akure after a closed-door meeting with selected leaders of the party. The former Kano State governor said the NNPP will take Nigerians out of the current challenges if given the opportunity to govern the country. He said the party's support is not based on ethnicity and religion, but the desire to bring rapid developments to the country. Let's hear him.
Unlike previous elections across the country, it's either you are in PDP or you are APC. When they kick you from here, you can only go the other side or you step aside. And now we have solid alternative to Nigerians. And we will continue to work very hard to ensure that Nigerians are enlightened about the good intention of the party, our party, the NNPP. We will do whatever it takes to ensure that Nigerians are made to understand about our capacity and integrity. And of course, that is the difference between North and South. The tremendous support that we have in northern Nigeria is not based on ethnicity or religion or region.
In another development, the National Deputy Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Umar Iliya Damagum, says he is confident that the aggrieved 5 governors On the platform of the party led by Wike of River State, will work for the victory of the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and others in their various states. Fielding questions from reporters at the party's presidential and governorship campaign rally in Yola, Adamawa State, Damagum said the internal wrangling within the party will not affect its desire to rescue Nigeria from the claws of the All Progressives Congress APC in 2023. He assured Nigerians that there is no cause for alarm over the prolonged crisis within the PDP. He stressed that it should not stop the party from producing the next president of the country in 2023.
Tell you that they have left the party. They have always said that they are going to work for the party. They are PDP. Recently, they have said it that they are doing everything possible to make sure that the party succeeds in every aspect of their state. So we have no cause for alarm. It is an in-house thing, and we are going to come over it.
Former National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Udom Imano, has challenged the Enugu State government to make public facts of alleged debts accrued to the state during his time as governor of the state. Imano made the call at the party's presidential and senatorial campaign rally in Benin City, the Enugu State capital.
When they were talking that day that I left Edo in debt, tell them I said it's a lie. They should publish in national newspapers what was the level of domestic debt when I left office on November 12, 2016, and what is the level of domestic debt today.
All right, let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party in Enugu State and one of the spokesperson of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Council, Chijioke Onyema. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. Now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am now joined by one of the spokespersons of the Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party, Chijioke Onyema. He is one of the longest-serving commissioners in Enugu State, having served between 2005 and 2015 as the State Commissioner for Environment and Mineral Resources. Onyema is also a public sector leadership analyst. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. As a politician and public sector leadership analyst, how will you describe the race to...
Come again?
As a public affairs analyst, a public sector leadership analyst, how will you describe the race to the 2023 elections? How has it been so far in your analysis?
Well, thank you very much once again for having me here. The 2023 upcoming general elections contains some dynamics that have never been happening in the history of Nigeria. Of course, in the advent of democracy in 1999, at this point in time, it appears that there are two other parties that have joined that struggle. And what it portends is that the challenges are interesting. But for we in the PDP, since 1999, we've laid out a vision policy for Nigeria. Unfortunately,
are determined to recover Nigeria back from whatever myriads of problems it finds itself today. Quite unfortunately, the 7.5 years has been a period of dire straits for the average Nigerian. The Atiku Okowa ticket is anchored on the 5-point program of trying to provide measurable policies that will address the enormous issues that face the nation today. These are the things we're bringing on the ballot, and we're encouraging very good democratic processes, free and fair elections, secure polling units, issue-based campaigns, and generally allowing Nigerians to make choices between having a government that came out in 1999 with clear policies that made Nigeria the largest economy in Africa, and between the last 7.5 years when Nigeria has become a pariah nation. This is the time to recover the country and continue on that trajectory of growth that PDP laid its foundation. That is the message the Atiku Abubakar campaign brings to the general public. Thank you.
So looking at what and how Nigeria is as of today, what kind of leader does this country need in 2023?
There's no doubt about the fact that we need a visionary. The issues are very clear, and we all know what the issues are. That's why if you notice, most of the political parties have very similar campaign manifestos. It is not copyright, if you ask me. It's just about the fact that we all know the problems in the country. We all know about insecurity. We all know about the economic downturns. We now know about the problems in the health sector. We all know about a degraded education system we operate. We all know about the safety nets that are not available for the average Nigerians. The difference is, in these manifestos, who are the people who are saying what they want to do? You start with, first of all, one key issue is that it is not in doubt that the foundations of democracy were laid in 1999 under the Obasanjo-Atiku administration. It is not debatable that those policies were sustained and Nigeria recorded growth as a result of those policies. Those were the very good days of democracy in Nigeria. Unfortunately, things went downside. What is Atiku Abubakar bringing on the table? Experience. You have learnt from that process. You have seen the pitfalls of an emerging democracy. You're coming in prepared to be able to uplift the problems of Nigerians. And what you see there are in measurable timelines, like things like, I will encourage restructuring. I will encourage diversification of powers to the sub-regions. I will ensure that I have inclusiveness of the private sector in driving the economy. I will ensure I have free national assets that have been encumbered to ensure that, one, they are properly run and create jobs for our people, and two, they bring the added revenue to fund government projects, right? Now, what this creates, they're like, when I use the word measurable, it means that those are things Nigerians can hold the PDP against. If a candidate tells you the first bill I will present to the National Assembly after inauguration is the bill on restructuring, what it means is that that bill is already being worked on. What does it create? Trust. It's different from people who have never experienced that hegemony called the Federal Republic of Nigeria and are coming on the ballot based on what they perceive they can do for the people. We're suffering from the same thing right now, because we all anchored our promises and hopes on people we felt that they were coming in with just a toga of "I am clean." At the end of the day, we found out that it takes more than cleanness to run a big economy like Nigeria. It takes people with direction. It takes people with focus. It takes the right team. It takes the right processes. It takes institutionalizing our institutions. These are all things that were set up by the PDP. And what I believe Atiku Ekowa ticket offers are all these gains that we believe will call it recover Nigeria. We must first of all recover our country, continue to enhance and grow the institutions we set up to ensure that they are really independent and really become a check on the system of what they were supposed to do. In a democracy, one of the biggest outcomes of democracy is freedom. And it is in that freedom that people question governance. The PDP administration has never been known to gag the press. The PDP administration has never been known to look at criticisms as counter to growth. So when you finish checking all these indices, it clearly shows you that the most prepared candidate for this coming presidential election is Waziri Atiku Abubakar, and anchoring on the Atiku Abubakar Okowa ticket.
Become problems you have mentioned. Many Nigerians strongly believe that experience may not be enough.
Well, experience is very key. It's not enough. It's very key. I talked about visioning. Experience is very critical, but that's not the only critical factor for success. That's why we talked about visioning. That's why we talked about hiring the right kind of people. That's why we talked about focusing on government, redirecting government to those programs and policies that will inure to the benefit of our people. These are all the things we are bringing on board. Of course, experience, you can never take out experience in anything because it's very critical to understanding the myriad of problems that are facing the country. If you have been in the battlefield, it is much, much easier for you to understand where you lost it, what are the things you can do to create a win-win. These are all the things that hands-on experience brings on the table. That's why it's a very critical success factor.
Spokespersons of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Council, how will you rate the support of your candidates nationwide?
Well, it's been very encouraging, to say the least. The campaigns have started. We never intended to run a campaign that is devoid of rancor. We understand the problems the parties are having with PDP being the main opposition party in the country. What we've tried to do is that we've digitalized our campaign. We've set it down to the grassroots. What you see in rallies are really just a very minute portion of what the campaign platform offers. We're anchoring our campaign on 5 key messages, and those messages are being spread to the grassroots, down up to the polling units, because this election is going to be the first digital election we're going to have in Nigeria. We are going to have digital processes of accreditation and voting. We are going to have online uploading of results from the polling units. What it means is that the people need to understand what they are voting for. The people need to understand what can bring them out of the problems we find ourselves in. That is why the PDP campaign has been very dynamic in meeting up with those challenges. We refuse to get distracted by name calling. We've always encouraged an issue-based campaign process, and this is what we'll continue to sell to Nigerians. We understand the inadequacies of different candidates, but we're not going to use it against them. We're not God. What we're bringing on the table is what we can do for Nigeria. I want Nigerians to be able to, in February, decide based on their understanding of the issues, whether I want to go back to the dark days or whether I want to continue with the growth process that we instituted.
All right. The Labour Party presidential candidate, and that's Peter Obi, is currently enjoying massive support from the Southeast, and there are insinuations that he may snatch it from the PDP. How worried is your party?
Well, there's no doubt about the fact that the Labour Party presidential candidate has become a force in the political space right now. You understand that the PDP, which the Labour Party candidate was our member up until 5 months ago, right, is the dominant party in the Southeast. We understand the emotive responses of people who are looking at issues from the perspective of this is our own. We have 2 presidential candidates that are from the Southeast running on the ballot, one from Labour Party, one from ABGA. We understand that there are going to be emotive responses, but the PDP is very well structured in the Southeast and has multiple candidates on the ballot to be able to deliver on its promises. One issue is very clear. For the very first time, the challenges facing the Southeast looks like they're about to be addressed by the Atiku Okowa ticket. In a competitive environment, the average Southeasterner, with all due respect to every other person, happens to be the kind of person that will be a beneficiary of a restructured Nigeria, a private sector-driven Nigeria, right? And being on that ballot with that mantra It's also an opportunity for our people to begin to see that it is not just about having a presidential candidate from your zone. It's about what are the things that will inure to the benefit of your people. The PDP has always been an all-inclusive party. Southeast and South-South has been a dominant base of the PDP. With the emerging scenarios, I don't see us losing the Southeast. I said it with all sense of certainty. The reasons are simple. Our people are beginning to understand that it's not just about having a candidate from your place. It's about having someone who you feel can deliver on the things that inure to the benefit of the Southeast. What are those things that inure to the benefit of the Southeast? Private sector-driven economy, secure environment, a restructured Nigeria that allows the regions to operate at their own pace. These are all the things that Atiku Okowa ticket is bringing on the table. If you look at it critically, all these critical success factors, some of them need elements of legislation to achieve. The Labour Party, as it's constituted today, does not even have enough candidates on the ballot to run for legislative elections. So how are you going to push for those reforms? This is a democratic space. And in a democratic space, you need those kind of consensus, those kind of bridge building to be able to draw growth. It's an opportunity for our people to understand what the issues are. I can really get the fact that it's an emotive decision. I'm also emotive about the PDP, the Southeast having a president of a Southeast extraction. But unfortunately, that is not what it is today. We need to engage better. We need to make sure we carry the rest of the country along in this very, very laudable initiative of having a Southeast president. So I still encourage our people to continue with their massive support for the PDP. Continue to identify with the programs and process of the party. And I'm sure for the very first time, the Southeast will really feel those things they've been agitating for over years.
All right, so we'll get back to the Southeast. Now, let's quickly touch on the PDP at the national level. The party is battling some internal crisis at the national level and in some states as well. And people say this will hamper your chances.
I can say yes and no. If you recall, I told you that this is going to be a revolutionary election in Nigeria. We're not about to have those electioneering processes again where they are dependent on stakeholders. Of course, the PDP is still in talks with trying to solve certain internal problems, some agitations inside the party. These are purely family affairs, and we are hopeful. We're very, very hopeful that solutions will come on that. But over and above all that, we're putting our eyes on the ball. We understand that these elections is not going to be about critical stakeholders. This election is going to be about the people. So what's most important is that we sell our programs to the people and ensure that they understand what the issues are. We'll continue to encourage, I'm sure the national leadership of PDP has its doors pretty open, continue to encourage discourse. I'm also seeing personal signs that there are solutions coming up to those minor problems that are bedeviling the party. But like the candidates of the party have said in the past, the train has left the station. The campaigns must go on. We have something we must deliver to Nigeria. These are very critical moments. We must shed those togas of personal ambitions and personal interests to ensure that we recover our country, first of all. And these are the things that the PDP stands for. We're very hopeful that those minor problems will be sorted out. But like I said, over and above all, our focus is on the average Nigerian who matters on this ballot.
All right, Mr. Chijioke Onyema, we'll definitely continue this conversation, but let's take a quick break and I'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Politics Tonight. And before we went on that break, I was speaking with one of the spokespersons of the Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party, Chijioke Onyema. All right, Mr. Agu, before we went on that break, we were talking about the crisis at the national level. And one of those crises is with the G5 led by Governor Wike. I would like to ask, why has this crisis become seemingly intractable? And also, if you're given a chance to mediate, what would you be telling both sides?
Thank you very much. It is very important that as a political party striving to serve and govern Nigeria, we must see ourselves playing by the rules. The People's Democratic Party had a properly constituted convention and elected a national chairman. The PDP also, under an enabling environment, threw open the presidential space for all the regions to compete. They also threw open the party national zoning policy, and which produced a capable hand like Waziri Atiku Abubakar. Along the line, we all know that the national chairman had always indicated that if the party does not want him to continue, that he will gladly leave. And what happened next? The party came together and gave him a vote of confidence. And thus far, he's been steering the ship of the party aright. We understand the grievances of the G5 governors, that's in the hope of creating a balance, the national chairman has to leave and someone from the south become national chairman. As much sense as that argument makes, it creates a constitutional problem. Do you kick out the national chairman by way of by force? Do you have to, in between a critical election that is less than 80 days, begin to organize a national convention to elect a national chairman? Bearing the PDP constitution, even if the national chairman were to resign, the next in line is still from the north. So what that creates is for people to suppress their personal goals and ambitions and join hands, first of all. Let us deliver on the mandate, the critical mandate we owe Nigerians. It is after this you begin to address issues that are germane to the party. The problems facing Nigeria are bigger than those minor problems facing the PDP. And it's my advice to the parties involved is that it's time to shed your swords. It's time to shed your swords. Let's work on delivering the victory, first of all. I'm very sure that the presidential candidate and his vice have given enough hope to people that they're going to run an all-inclusive government. That also affects the party structure. I have no doubt in my mind that whatever grievances that the G5 and maybe other people have against the PDP as the president constituted today will definitely be addressed with time. It is in this guise that I call on our people to continue to support this initiative and understand what the real issues facing us are. The real issues facing us are 7.5 years of misgovernance, are 7.5 years of squalor for the average Nigerian. It is bigger than all of us critical stakeholders that are arguing for positioning. It's important we take that message to our people and deliver on the vision, first of all, before we begin to talk about how to share the booty.
All right. You once said the choice of governors Udom Imano and Aminu Tambuwal are the right choice to lead the PDP campaign. Now, considering that Tambuwal is at the center of the crisis rocking the party presently, is this not creating more problems for the party ahead of the elections?
Well, first of all, the PCC has considered as the governor of Udom State as the chairman. We all know the growth trajectory of Akwa Ibom is one of the states, the star PDP states, right from 1999. Handing over such responsibility to a man with that demeanor only portends very deep organization and deep thinking about processes. Aminu Tambuwal also brings a lot of experience, having run the legislative arm of government for a considerable period of time under the PDP administration. It gives him that cohesive spirit to be able to garner all the tendencies in the party. Remember that the tendencies in the party are not only the G5 governors. You have a myriad of 400 and something House of Reps and Senate members that you've had consecutively for the last 20 years of our democracy. You have to manage all these tendencies. You have to get everybody in line to be able to deliver on the mandates on the party. His demeanor and quiet character and his listening ear and intuitive spirit makes him the right candidate for that position. It is understandable that not everybody will take it lightly based on the outcomes of the national primaries we had for presidential elections. But also, like I always say, it is time for all of us to build our party. Aminu Tambuwal is a very competent individual to act as the Director General of the campaign. And as events have shown so far, he has been running that. We're running the best campaign ever in the history of the PDP. We're running the best campaign ever in the history of political partying in Nigeria. It is very obvious that the other political parties are following the decisions of the PDP. If you look at our PCC structure, it's exactly the same thing the other parties did after us. We're the first party to start campaign. We're the first party to come out with a manifesto. We're the first party that has measurable timelines of where we're headed. You see all the other parties playing catch-up. All it goes to show you the competence of who is administering that process.
All right, let's get back to your state. You lost 2 governorship aspirants, and that's talking about Chijioke Onyema and Everest Naji, who have both defected to another party. This certainly must have weakened PDP in the state.
Well, the PDP is a hegemon in Enugu State. It's 1999 up till tomorrow. The PDP, I can confidently tell you, will win Enugu State with a very wide margin. This is because we're the only party in the state that has been offering democratic dividends since 1999, and it's not about to stop. The advent of the Labour Party had some members of the PDP moving out to the Labour Party in search of their greener pastures. But as we speak today, I'm not even certain the Labour Party has a candidate for the election, because they are still in court over who is even the candidate for the election that is some less than 80 days away. Right? What does that portend for you? It portends for you a system that is still in formation. That is a system that still needs time to build. The Labour Party is tomorrow's party. The Labour Party is not today's party. That is my firm belief. And you're going to see it machinated in February 25th on the day of the ballot. Because what the grounds the PDP has gained in Enugu State is not something you just take away by the grip of the hand. We have candidates running their ballots on that day of the election on all the political spaces available under the PDP. And our campaigns have commenced, like I said, down to the grassroots. I believe that the outcomes will be favorable to our party. Of course, I will not take away all the sentiments going about our own. That's what I mean by sentiments. But we're also very happy that our people are beginning to look at what the issues really are. And you'll see it manifest in the ballot in February.
All right, let's talk more. The PDP governorship candidates, and that's Peter Obi, Obatu Uchenaji of APC and Frank Nweke of ABGA, as well as other candidates. Now, these men are certainly very formidable and could defeat your party. Can they?
Well, the PDP, which is the political party I belong to, our governorship candidate in the ballot is Mr. Peter Obi, an urbane gentleman who has achieved tremendously in the private sector, trying to bring that wealth of experience into raising the bars and increasing the standards of governance in the state. The other candidates, I have immense respect for them. A couple of them are my friends, right? But I know that Enugu is institutionalized as a PDP state. The odds are really against them, and I'm very certain that Mr. Peter Obi will win on the ballot.
All right. Before this question, you said the Labour Party is a party for tomorrow and not a party for today. Does it mean you may be undermining the effect of the new Nigerian voters?
Well, there's one mistake that I've noticed in the political space, especially amongst the young people, the younger generation. Rightfully so, there's a lot of misgiving about the quality of governance as presently considered in the country today. Rightfully so, there are myriad of problems facing the Nigerian youth. It is all these things that culminated in that frustration that you can never take away. But I want to encourage us to begin to look at where the problem is coming from. I can understand the frustration. Nigerian youth were not this frustrated pre-2015. It's on record they were not. Nigeria was the biggest economy in Africa. People were coming back from diaspora to take up positions in Nigeria. It's on record. We should stop having short memories and begin to think that this problem started since the advent of democracy. That is why we call one of the themes of our campaign is Recover Nigeria. This message for those young people who I very much like to engage with, because they are bringing a lot of energy into the campaign space. Even inside the PDP, we have about the greatest population of younger people working for the party at this moment that we've ever had before. What is that? Because we understand what the issues are, and we understand that these problems are critical and it needs urgent solutions. We must raise the bars and stop being emotive. Because what PDP is bringing on the table is, yes, we're coming here to come and continue with those policies and processes that put this country on the center stage as the biggest economy in Africa. We're coming in to come and strengthen those institutions of government that will ensure adequate checks on profligacy, adequate checks on issues that are anti-government. We're coming to execute policies that will inure to the benefit of our people. These are the messages the youths have to understand, that the PDP is coming to open up the space for them to be able to operate in that private sector environment they've always craved for. These are the things the PDP government is coming up with, which young people are encouraged to stop being emotive and understand that these are the issues on the table. Of course, when you understand these things, it will go a long way in making you vote for your future in February. Because the PDP is guaranteeing you that a vote for the PDP is a vote for a greater Nigeria.
All right, let's quickly move away from party issues. INEC facilities attacked every day, and recent sit-at-home order issued by Samuel Ekpa Group. What would you be telling governors of the Southeast to bring to prevail on the agitators so that next year's election will not be threatened in the zone?
Well, thank you very much for that question at this very critical moment. The people of the Southeast, or some segments of people from the Southeast, have been in agitation for a while now on issues they feel that are not enabling inclusiveness in governance, which is actually caused by the 7.5 years of bad leadership that brought for us. That's why you've had the offspring of IPOB, insurgency, and all that. Quite unfortunately, as great as the message IPOB is bringing on the table, they are not parts, from what I gather, of what the insecurity presently bedeviling the Southeast. I think miscreants and criminals have taken over that space and begin to cause mayhem on their people. Why I say that is very clear. I don't see anybody who is agitating for Biafra who will turn around and start killing the people he wants to rule. So that means it might not be them. And their leader, who is in detention, has also explicitly talked against all these things. I wonder why in the Southeast we're not facing the issues as it is. A fellow who lives in Finland stays on the radio or on the internet and gives an instruction and people are actually obeying it. What it portends to me is that it's being sponsored. This is a deliberate agenda by certain people to ensure that the Southeasterners are not secure enough to be on the ballot. And the PDP condemns such actions. We always condemned violence in the electioneering process. It is something that the governors of the Southeast, the security agencies, need to do something quickly to nip that in the bud before it goes so viral that people are not even going to be able to access their homes anymore. As we speak, the Yuletide is coming up. Taking the census, you see a lot of people who are not going to the Southeast for Christmas because they don't feel secure. Something urgently has to be done about it. And it's still an APC government responsibility to try and see how they can nip the insecurity in the Southeast and indeed every part of this country on the board while waiting to exit.
All right, another one. Now, hoodlums continue to destroy INEC offices in the Southeast. I'm going to ask you, don't you think this will have a negative impact on the election, especially in the Southeast?
Certainly will. Certainly will. It really shows you that these things are criminal elements. These are because you don't even know what they are looking for. You're going to destroy an INEC office. Is there any money they want to steal? You know, thankfully, the Nigerian police in Imo State today acted very boldly by arresting a couple of those miscreants. We want to see proper investigation because this provides a lead to understand where these people are coming from, who are their sponsors, right? It's important we do not just take it away that you've arrested them, you go and lock them up somewhere without proper investigation. The security agencies owe Nigerians a duty to make us know, use this lead to find out who these people are exactly and who are their sponsors, what their intentions are, and what they intend to achieve.
All right, so does it look like your governors are overwhelmed?
Well, overwhelmed might be an overstatement. You have issues about even the security structure of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which are the things that the PDP government is trying to address. It still brings us back to those issues of restructuring, having state and local policing, and all that. What it does is that it empowers the governors more to be able to deal with matters that have to deal with security. But for now, the only options they have are to ensure that they work closely with the federal agencies to see how they can create access to better information for the security agencies and provide logistics for them to be able to counter the insurgency that is ravaging the Southeast.
All right, before we go, let's quickly talk about INEC's preparation for the election. How would you rate it?
Well, there's no political party that will not have anxiety about the new electoral reforms that are going on in INEC. We're happy about the outcomes of results from Osun State and Ekiti State. We won in Osun State, we lost in Ekiti State. We know why we lost. It was not an INEC problem. We're encouraging INEC to continue to uphold these processes. Thankfully, the President of Nigeria had severally intimated both locally and internationally of his desire to leave a legacy of free and fair elections. We're encouraging the INEC hierarchy to key into that strategy and avoid any distractions that would create questionable results in these elections. We in the PDP were aware of certain things that have been done by other parties, I will not mention their names, even up to trying to hack into INEC servers and all that, which have been nipped in the bud. We're encouraging INEC to continue to track and backroll their back-end information system to make sure it's safe and secure, continue to test the equipment they're going to use for election, continue to train their personnel to make sure they don't compromise during the electoral process. So at the end of the day, they are the ones, and Nigerians will be very happy to have a winner truly emerge from a free and fair electioneering process. That major responsibility is anchored on INEC. And the PDP as a government, the PDP as a party, is encouraging INEC to walk their talk and live up to those promises.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chijioke Onyema, one of the spokespersons of the Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you very much for being a part of the show tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. Now, just before we go, let's give you the peak of the day regarding the political happenings in the country.
I want to plead with the church to be careful of being used to play politics. Yes, I believe all of us should participate in the politics of this country to determine who governs us. But let the church not be allowed to be used as if we are fighting a religious war. And I have seen people now who have come out to talk about the church. Ask them, what has been their contribution for the growth of the church? Ask them, when they were in position in authority, what contribution did they make for the church to grow? It's not now that politics have come. You want to come and tell church.
All right, there you have it. And that marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Join us tomorrow for another edition of Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. I am Olajumoke. Goodbye.